My name is Nathan Lang. I'm the director of the documentary film God in the Box. I come at this from being a television news reporter, and I love asking people, men and women on the street, questions that are philosophical or are everyday questions where people give you really private inside views into their lives. And one day I started getting these images in my head of this box there on the sidewalk in New York City. And I thought, wow, if we could just get people to walk inside and not only describe or draw their personal definition or vision of God, but illustrate it for us on camera, that we would have this incredible collection that we could therefore go and put onto a timeline and see how long have we had these visions and ideas in our head and why. I like to tell people to imagine themselves walking up to this large box on a street corner. And when you get there, what you see is this big black and white box that's like twice the size of a phone booth. And on the side it says God in the Box. And inside you find a stool, a drawing table, a pencil, and 2 questions, which says, what does God look like to you and what does God mean to you? And there are cameras and microphones rolling on the other side of mirrored glass, so you can begin at any time. The box, we just stood up on street corners kind of out of the blue. We didn't do announcing or publicizing in cities in advance. And people who would walk by were just instantly curious. People come in, they describe their ideas of what God looks like or means in their own heads. They put them down into these drawings. People would spend anywhere from just a minute or 2 to 15 or 20 minutes. What the box gives you is a very private view inside someone's head, but it's a snapshot. These aren't their life stories. We take these series of drawings, which we got from New York City to LA and 8 cities across the country as we stopped and popped the box up on street corners along the way. It's just an incredible collection, which we took to theologians and historians and a mythologist to put into a 21st century context. A lot of people wonder, when we started the film, did we go in with preconceived notions? And as much as one can avoid that, we did. And I thought, there are no absolutes about God, no absolute rights, no absolute wrongs, and so who are we to judge? Let's just go out there and capture what we can without too many preconceived notions. And what you get are all of these incredible surprises. The things that you think you're going to hear from the evangelists, you don't hear. And the things that you think you might hear from the non-believers, you don't hear. You hear these other stories that you don't expect to, and they come from surprising places. And so I hope that that will be as entertaining for the audience as it is for us, the filmmakers. It took a lot of reviewing the footage. There's so much incredible footage in the box. What people had to say and do and draw as you kind of peer into their mind's eye is really amazing. So it was hard to pick and choose. But we figured out themes, ultimately, that that people tended to follow, whether they be visual themes or whether they be emotional themes, and we tried to go down those trails and not pollute the story with other outside religious topics today that didn't necessarily happen while in the box. If it happened in the box, that's what we followed. In making the documentary, the thing that has changed me most is I've become more tolerant. I thought I was a tolerant person even before starting the film. And I feel like I have very open and tolerant views. But there were still things that I found threatening about other people's views and religions, especially when they would try to impose those upon me. But after seeing people kind of explain and reveal themselves in the box without having to debate it, you get a much clearer insight into how others see things. And so for me, even though other people saw things really differently in many cases than the way I see them, it reduced how threatening that was. And that was sort of my transformative experience in the box. A lot of people wonder, how are we going to distribute this movie? We've begun a strategy of reaching out to individuals and organizations who want to see this movie to sign up on our website at godinthebox.com. And if they're unable to make it to the ArcLight Doc Fest here in about 10 days, then they can see the movie by bringing it to their own organization or by joining in when we have our national night. On this one night, in various venues around the country, we can screen the film and then have a national town hall, discuss it online, make a water cooler discussion for the next day. That's our self-distribution plan. I have this one bit of advice that seems really pertinent now, which is, as you're out there thinking about making your film and putting your budget together, and you're planning for pre-production and production and post-production, you should also plan marketing money into your budget. Because once you're done with your film and you want to get it out there to your audience and you want to show people about it and tell people about it, that's almost impossible to do for free. And I know that was a line item that I neglected to put into our budget when we got started. I, like so many filmmakers, just thought, oh, I'll just make this movie and I'll finish it and then we'll get discovered. And frankly, you need to have money in your budget to go out and introduce your film to people.